Hello friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. It is a glorious rainy day here in North Carolina. It is the perfect time to give you some updates on projects that we have been doing in the last couple of weeks, months. Time is flying by and the garden is filling in, and these projects have been so rewarding and they are paying off. All of that hard work and sweat is producing great results. So you have been with us on all of these projects that we have done. So as we go through each individual area in the garden, I'm going to show you what it was before and then what it is now, because it is so rewarding to see the fruits of our labor come forth into fruition. So first of all, the cottage garden, because I have got beautiful flowers. I get so excited. Let's just back up just a second. So what are we gonna look at? We're gonna look at the cottage garden real quick. We have got seeds, plants germinating up in the garden boxes. The lupines that we planted, huge experiment, did not know how they were gonna do. I have got a flower, it's so exciting. The Emperor One bed that Mimi and I worked on probably weeks ago, it is flourishing. Of course, the chicken coop woodland garden that has been years in the making, it is looking so lush and beautiful. Loving that. We have got, of course, the deck boxes. We have got the entrance bed coming to the nursery that Mimi and I again worked on, and it is stunning. The hydrangeas are blooming and loving life. And then we've got a fun new addition that you need to add to your garden, especially if you are in a place that is hot and humid. If you're not growing these in your garden, you need to have them. It's one of my favorite all-time low maintenance, high performing annuals. I'm gonna share those with you too. So let's get going. The cottage garden is filling in so lovely. Even though we have been in a severe drought, this is some much needed rain. The Surefire Cherry Cordial Begonias, they are filling in a little slower than I wanted to, even though they are on drip, but the lack of rain certainly has not helped their growth, but they're growing. Everybody is alive. And speaking of growing, look at the cottage garden. Everything is so pretty. This is on drip irrigation, but getting that rain the past couple of 24 hours or so, a little things are smushed down, but it is glorious. So this is why we want to go ahead and prune our Amsonia, because when you get a heavy rain, it flops. So once things dry out, I'll go ahead and give it a little haircut, but we have got the milkweed is blooming. We've got Monarda blooming. One of my favorite all-time perfect, beautiful daylilies. It's hard to find this one, but the Shalom Peony Display, it is just a beautiful double daylily. And then look at the Agastaki. We planted this, and that peachy yellow next to the blue is just lovely. So new introduction, of course, this is the Nectar Ninja from our friends at Walter's Gardens. It'll be available next year, possibly this fall. So it is blooming, doing really well. Yeah, everything is doing great. And even though I have a bunny that likes to reside in here, it is, I've had to take some precautions and put my cages over my helianthus, because my goodness, they were eating them down to the nubs. That was my bit. It's coming back slowly. The bit of honey is happening. And then y'all look at this dahlia. Last year we planted it, but it took forever, and now I think we're doing okay. Don't ask me what kind it is. We'll figure out when it blooms which one it is. But the Monarda, the of course the Supertunia Mini Vista Hot Pink, along with this is that other of that Nectar Ninja right there, is gorgeous, along with that lavender. I think this is the taffeta back there, the Monarda, Salvia, beautiful. All right, are you ready to see a huge transformation? Let's go. On May the 6th, we were up here and we started the potager garden here at Creekside at our house. Y'all, look at that. green, we have germination. These 2 boxes, they are filling in. Y'all, look at that. Sweet little green beans. They are happy. They germinated. It was so exciting to see. They literally like came up. Like once they started to germinate, it was so fun because at the beginning of the day, they were in one stage. At the end of the day, a very different stage. Grew super fast. Really happy with them. We have got, of course, there are the marigolds. We've actually got some true leaves on them. So we are doing really well there. And then we even have, this is our tomatoes. Now they're taking their sweet time, but you know what? This garden is going to teach me patience. So we have got those. Of course, the annuals are doing really well. Over here, we have got some of the basil. We've got, looks like 3 seeds have germinated, which is fine. I don't need a ton of basil. That'll be all right. So we have got those going on. And then down here with the chives, look at that. Those cute little hairy chives. Very, very fringy, very hairy looking. So they are doing really good as well. And then we have got over here, as we pan, so I don't make you dizzy, we have got the parsley. It too has germinated. This rain is perfect for these gardens. And then this one is, I think, the sun gold. I'll have to go back and look, but it's my other tomato. One was early girl and one was sun gold. So there you go. Everybody coming along, teaching me patience, right? Patience, patience, patience. But back here, look at those Super Tunia Mini Vista Hot Pink. Are they not just stunning? Absolutely gorgeous up here. Loving how they bring that pop of pink and color, tying in the whole garden. My goodness, they are glorious. Last fall, you were with me when we planted the garlic. So the garlic is so close. My friends, we are so close for it being ready to be harvested. I think we're gonna wait maybe another week or so before we harvest it, but it is going to be, hopefully, it looks like a very bountiful harvest because I do love some garlic. I cook with garlic all the time. And so this crop, it is doing really, really well. We should have a ton of garlic for our family. Just the other week, I went ahead and cut the scapes off of this garlic because that, of course, sends back that energy into the head, the bulb, and because we don't need it to go to bloom, we don't need it to go to seed, we just want all of that energy to go down to those nice big heads. Give us lots and lots of garlic cloves, and so we are so close. It's still a little green. We need it to brown up just a little bit more before we go ahead and harvest it. And then, of course, we want to wait and let it dry out. Do not want to harvest the garlic when it is really kind of wet like it is right now. Grateful for the rain, but we want to let it dry out, and that way it will help produce those better garlic heads for us in that that we can have it for lots and lots of dishes. So of course I will take you along for that ride once we harvest it and to see how everybody is doing. Oh, I cannot wait. There's nothing beats fresh garlic from your own garden. We are very fortunate that we get to work with some amazing plant companies, and this late winter, early spring, Walters Gardens sent us some new plant introductions for us to try out. One of those was the Candyland mix of lupines. And lupines, they should not grow really well here in North Carolina because of our heat and humidity, but y'all, look at this beauty. I am so stinking excited. Look at this gorgeous, gorgeous purple bloom. She is the first and currently the only bloom that I have on my lupines, but the foliage is stunning, of course. Beautiful, nice, healthy green foliage. But then once you get up into that bloom, I absolutely adore it. I honestly don't know if I have ever seen lupines in person. because lupines, like I said, they're not really meant to grow well here in North Carolina with our heat and humidity. They much prefer those cooler, drier environments. And but my gosh, y'all, isn't she stunning? I am so excited. I have 5 plants. This is my only flower yet. Let's check on the other ones. Right now, the other 4, we have got beautiful foliage, but we do not have any buds or flowers on it yet, on any of them yet. So we're gonna wait patiently. We're gonna see what they do, and maybe we will get another flower. With my hot and humid North Carolina environment, we knew that it was like a risk for the lupines to bloom. And I said, when we did this project together and I put them in the ground, I said, if I only get a bloom from this, then I will be a happy, happy gardener. And I am. And I honestly love the fact that it is purple, because I have the purple impatiens behind it. It is a mix, so of course I had no idea what the colors were going to be. So if that's the only bloom I get, I cherish that bloom, and it is fine. So there you go, sweet little lupine. I will say this, that we had, when we did the house garden tour on the free workshop in May, one of our sweet, dear, loyal customers, Rod, who used to live in California, Southern California, and he was like, yeah, lupines would grow to be like 8 feet tall. And I'm like, Rod, it's like 18 inches tall, but we got a bloom. It's all right. So that's where, you know, you can have an absolutely gorgeous plant in one garden or one part of the country. That doesn't mean necessarily that it's going to transfer well to another part of the country in another garden. So being a student of your own garden, understanding your environment, your growing conditions, and finding those right plants to go in there, that is key. It's not a bad plant placement. But the lupines, like I said, she's the only one, I'll take her. Our next garden update is here in the Emperor One bed. You were with Mimi and I as we came in and kind of refreshed this bed with annuals and perennials. Again, we did get a good rain, y'all, and right now my webmaster spider's wort, she kind of laid down. It's all right. She'll perk up, it'll be fine. I am not worried about it. But I do want to share with you, because take note of this beautiful, nice, soft cream and purple flower on it, because when Mimi and I were in this space, we planted, this is Webmaster, we planted Web Designer, which is another spiderwort from Proven Winner Color Choice Shrubs. So keep that in mind right there, because the Web Designer has a really, really dark bloom on it. Like, it is a rich, rich purple. So to give you an update on these babies, see, now look at the different bloom on that, right? Intense, rich purple bloom. These plants, they will get nice and big, just like that Web Designer. However, they do not spread, because spiderworts have been historically big bullies in the garden, and they will take over. My Web Designer has not done that whatsoever, and I fully suspect that this, well, that was Webmaster, Web Designer over here, I gotta keep them straight, that this will do the exact same thing and be really, really well behaved. So love those. And then of course, remember, we planted the Surefire white begonias. That is one begonia, my friend, in each of those containers. We have got the pink pearls Agastaki. Look at that. Isn't she beautiful? I mean, has grown by leaps and bounds. Even with this rain, she is doing really well. I do have a couple of broken stems on the next door neighbor. That is because, you know, we have this bunny that has inhabited the garden, and I have a 100-pound German Shepherd. So when the German Shepherd finds the bunny, it's all, you know, we say a prayer over the plants, because she can just go after the bunny and forget about any of the plants. The Nemesia, the Aromanth mulberry Nemesia, it is doing so well here. Planted that with Mimi. Then of course the Artist Blue Ageratum, it too is doing well. It is time to come in and prune back my Baptisia. Just like the Amsonia needs a little prune, so does the Baptisia, but doing really, really well all the way through here with those annuals. And then we also planted the Nova Pearl penstemon. Look at that. They were little quartz when we planted them. They are flushing out. Look at all that beautiful foliage, nice and getting nice and big at the bottom. And then of course those pure white flowers. Oh, absolutely doing a great job. And then Mimi and I filled in and added that lemon coral sedum around the base right here at the edge of the garden, and it too has filled in beautiful. You can see more of those pearl penstemons right there. The purple fountain grass has taken off. It has found its feet. Everybody in this bed is doing really well, and so could not be happier with how it is all doing and filling in. And before we know it, the pufferfish hydrangeas, they too will be blooming. Probably my most recent project that we're going to do an update on are the deck boxes. So we did this just a little while ago, not too terribly long. The annuals, they're starting. I do see growth. They are growing. By no means are they even close to being completely filled out. We got a long way to go, my friends. But I just kind of wanted to give you a little update on how everybody is doing. Immediately, the pollinators were coming to this space, absolutely loving these new plants. Of course, on a rainy day, don't have very many pollinators out, but I just love how these boxes with all of their colors are tying in to the rest of the garden. The Incrediballs are about to absolutely be in all of their glory. And then look, my friends, the blue chiffon Rose of Sharon, we have our first blooms on it for this season. Trying to get in here with the camera so you can see. There we go. A little downturned because of the rain, but that blue, when it is going to be in all of her glory, next to the blues of the salvias, the magentas of those new Super Bells from Proven Winners that will be available next year. Oh my goodness, it is going to be such a beautiful sight. Love this. This next project update, the Woodland garden here at the chicken coop. Y'all, this is a project update years in the making. We are finally making progress in this garden. Of course, if you remember, we flash back, we have had multiple trees down in this space. So there was a whole calendar year where I could not be in this space because of down trees due to hurricanes and tornadoes and lovely natural disasters that happened. But Mimi and I were in here this spring, and oh my, y'all, the transformation. When you go back and you look at the footage of when Mimi and I were in this space and you compare it to now, there is no comparison. When we were up here, obviously we were not in the throes of late spring, summertime, and so it does make a huge difference. Of course, having the trees leafed out, all the plants have flushed out, but they have done so well. They have responded to everything that Mimi and I did, all of the tender loving care, adding in those perennials. My gosh, the pulmonaria. If you have a dry shade and you're not growing pulmonaria, you need to do that. They have all just taken off and done so incredibly well. As a little testimony, my friends, so those of you that are eternal optimists, or maybe you're a pessimist, I don't know. These little raspberry splash pulmonaria right here, they were in containers. I was going to plant them. I forgot. The drought came, the heat came, and they were not watered. Y'all, they looked awful. They looked terrible, like dead, deader than dead. A little bit of green in there. I didn't film it. I just went ahead and plopped them in the ground. They looked awful. Look at them now. Their root systems were strong. Yes, they're still on the smaller side. I don't care. They're alive. They're going to grow. I don't need an instant plant right away. Gardening teaches you patience. So they are doing super well. Also, you were with me when we were in this space later on in the spring, and we planted the new Fatsia from Proven Winter Color Choice Shrubs. This is the High Five Green Fingers. Look how happy the Mr. Green Fingers is, doing super well. So we're very happy with him. And then also when we were in that same time and we planted the Let's Dance Hot Stepper. So we have one bud that has a little bit of color on it with multiple more buds coming out. So yay for Hot Stepper. Gonna be a great new addition, of course, to this space. But everything in here is doing really well, including the weeds. You can be underneath a severe drought, extreme drought. The weeds will always find a way. So yes, if you see things, little weeds popping up here and there, yeah, that's right. Every garden has weeds, and so we all deal with them and we take care of them when we can. It's a part of gardening. The weeds keep us humble, right? As many of you will recall, late last summer, we did a huge project here at the front of our house, and part of that was we had to do some different drainage, and because of that change in drainage, we created this flower bed. It is a nice, good size bed. I call it the umbrella pine bed because the center piece of this garden is this fun and funky umbrella Japanese pine. It is very happy, has put on all sorts of new growth, but this is a full sun flower bed, is not on irrigation. I've had to water it a couple of times because of the drought, but my goodness, everything, they have found their feet, as I say. Their roots are nice and happy. You were with me then this spring when we added some annuals and perennials. Of course, the unplugged So Blue Salvia is dotted throughout here, as is the Truffle of Pink Gum Frena. Sedums are doing well. That kind of tells you how dry it is because the sedums are loving life, and the perennials are doing well. So while we had the pink pearl agastache there in the Emperor One bed, this is peach pearl. And I see that we have our first color right here with that peach pearl. Nice peachy orange color, absolutely beautiful. Hoping that the camera is focusing on that. It looks really pretty with that blue salvia behind it. They are a little bit behind the pink pearl because this is not on irrigation, so they have not received nearly the amount of water that their cousins have, but the peach pearl and the pink pearl agastache, they are more wide than they are tall. So that's a really kind of fun addition. And then my tiny quickfire, look at that. We have got some buds appearing on it, and very happy with that. The flock of flamingos, they're just hanging out. We don't have any buds yet on the flock of flamingos, but everything else is doing super well. The I tell you, this Schizocerium grass, of course, this is the chameleon, doing so well. It overwintered beautifully. Again, now that I'm in this space, I was just here and weeding, but you can tell we've got some friends, so we're gonna need to take care of that. But the chameleon Schizocerium, I'm telling you what, y'all, if you happen to see a chameleon in the garden center, grab it. You're going to absolutely love it. It is fantastic. And then the butterfly candies, they are bouncing back so well. Remember, they took a hard hit this winter, almost complete and total dieback. And now that I am looking, look at this, my friends. Look at that. It's a bud. Not only one, we've got 2 buds on the butterfly candies. Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. I love it. It never gets old for me to see these plants come back. And look at sister over here. Sister's got them too, covered in buds. Love, love, love it. Talk about a transformation when we were in here with planting the annuals and the perennials and seeing those butterfly candies then and seeing them now. Oh, makes my heart happy, my friends. Next project update is the entrance garden here to the nursery. Of course, this is the first impression that our visitors get of Creekside, and so of course we want to make it as beautiful as possible. Yet again, another project with Mimi. Do you sense a recurring theme? We are great garden partners. And in this space, what we did was added the perennials, we added some annuals in here, and again, everybody is absolutely thriving. Underneath this Golden Shadows Pagoda Dogwood, we have got Alexander's Great Brunnera. Look at that. Don't you love how they just shine underneath there? They have grown. Now, I probably need to come in here and do a little bit of pruning on the Golden Shadows because the Brunnera in the back probably need a little bit more sun. So that's just a little bit of editing that we will have to do, but that is no big deal. Very happy with how everybody is performing. The eucharas in the ground, doing great. So we've got Georgia Peach, Georgia Plum, and then Southern Comfort. Eucharas can be tricky for me in the landscape because of our thick clay soil. But all of these have the Velosa breeding in them, and they are doing really, really well. Other than being a little waterlogged, which honestly we're quite happy about, they look great. They are blooming. The Georgias are blooming, and then Southern Comfort, I am sure, I have no doubt that it will be blooming here shortly as well. The Ribbon Falls Carex that we added, they too have just taken off, doing super happy. Hydrangeas have buds on them. The hostas look great. Even old big beauty right here, Elegans, doing really nice. And then look how happy the cast iron plants are. So that's how we know that they are in a good spot, nice and lots of shade. Typically it is dry shade, even though we have this on irrigation. The irrigation is not on these guys, and I have to manually turn this irrigation on. And we know that the Aspidistra are happy also, because look at this, y'all. We've got little babies down there, little sprouts, new leaves popping up. Aspidistra are historically very slow growers. So to have that much new growth coming out from the bottom, oh, makes this gardener's heart quite happy. Beautiful complement to this sum and substance hosta that is here. We of course got the surefire begonias. They're getting swallowed up by the hosta. I do not care. The hosta gets precedence here. And then we had the camellia that we added. She is putting on new growth. Really happy with her. She did look a little rough when we planted her, but like I said, we've got new growth popping out. So this means that she is very happy. This is a purple dawn. So lovely on that. The Everillo Carex, the small ones, not gonna lie, they're a little bit on the struggle bus. It's all right. It's been hot, it's been dry, they're alive, I'll take it. You can tell the other Carexes that are nice and big, they've been here and nice and mature. And then coming on down, everybody else doing well. Our classic Annabelle hydrangeas getting ready to bloom. We have got the Endless Illumination Broalia here, nice and happy. The Fatsia, it is doing well. Spider's Web, I mean, everything is looking great. Look at old Alice back there. So that is Alice, the oak leaf hydrangea, classic, just a beauty. A nice and big one, will get huge, does massive blooms on it, and of course gets that beautiful burgundy color in the fall. So she is doing well. And then let me show you Ruby Slippers. Before I show you ruby slippers though, can we take a moment and appreciate lemony lace? Lemony lace elderberry, y'all, this plant, I tell you, it struggles here in the South with our heat and humidity, but every spring it tries so hard to come back big and beautiful, and it does. It's a slow fade once the heat hits, but my gosh, the root system is there. It's nice and happy, getting nice and big. So we're just going to appreciate the beauty for lemony lace until the heat hits, and then she might melt. But that's okay, because she'll come back bigger next year. The Surefire white begonias doing really well in their urns, loving how they are coming across. And then here we go. This is Ruby Slippers Oak Leaf Hydrangea. Not really an update other than they're in bloom, and I just want to show them to you. So Ruby Slippers, there's 4 here, I believe. More of a petite hydrangea. Oh, the rain is coming down now. Petite oak leaf hydrangea that gives you those big, beautiful blooms, and little waterlogged right now, but my gosh, how great do they look. I love it. So people will see this when they actually leave because it's on the way out. And so Ruby Slippers Oak Leaf Hydrangea, if you're looking for a more petite one, she's a great classic one and is absolutely stunning. Before we wrap up for today, I have to share with you one of my all-time must-have annuals for my North Carolina garden. They're gorgeous and they're available now. If you have watched any of my gardening videos when we are in the throes of summer with the heat and humidity, odds are you have heard me talk about my love of the Heart to Heart Caladiums. Y'all, I'm telling you what, I just can't say this enough. If you live in a place where your summers are hot and humid and you are not growing the Heart to Heart Caladiums, you are missing out on one of the easiest plants that brings you gorgeous color, not flowers, foliage color, and they are so stinking low maintenance. They're here and they are ready both for the garden center and e-commerce. Let me show you why you want to have these caladiums in your garden. We're gonna let the caladiums do all the talking and the explaining. Caladiums are from a bulb, a corm. They thrive in the heat and humidity. They are actually come from southern Florida, so you know that it is hot and humid there. They come in a wide range of colors and shapes. I'm just gonna say my current love affair is creme brulee. This is one of the 2 new introductions this year. Y'all, it is primarily for the shade. Last year though, I did have it in hot afternoon sun and it did well. These are stunning, stunning plants. Who cares if you don't have a flower when you have this kind of color and texture in the garden? The Heart to Hearts, some are for shade, like your creme brulee, while others can do sun and shade. I have grown them in both. If you have the same caladium and you have one in the sun and one in the shade, you're gonna get probably a little bit of color variation, but look at this. This is Burning Heart, beautiful, gorgeous colors on it. Absolutely stunning and beautiful. They are in, all the caladiums are in quart-sized containers. So when you order them, you're going to get a quart-sized container. They are just beginning to really show their beauty. Now that little stem up there, that is the flower. You don't grow a caladium for the flower, I would cut that off, right? Because we want to have the gorgeous leaves on them with all of their color. So you're going to get them in a quart-sized container, whether you're at the garden center or you are shopping online. How I use the caladiums in my garden, every way possible. So they do great in containers, hanging. They make a stunning hanging basket. So if you want a low maintenance hanging basket, fill it with caladiums, either all of the same caladium or you can mix your colors. It does not matter. Have fun with it. But they make a great hanging basket, containers directly in the landscape. They thrive even in thick clay soil. They can handle it and they are gorgeous. So I had to share with you that they are here, they are available. And so yeah, you're gonna wanna add caladiums to your garden. I absolutely adore them and love them. Since the rain is coming down pretty good right now, yes, we're gonna wrap it up here in the greenhouse and stay a little dry. So I hope that seeing these garden updates, these transformations, because you have been with us on so many projects over the last 6 years. So we've been in YouTube and doing videos for social media, YouTube specifically for 6 years. We did that earlier for Facebook, but that's what we love, bringing you along for these projects, because you get to see in real time what happens. I always say that gardening will teach you patience. It does, because yes, when you plant some containers, some plants, right, caladiums, you get a pretty instant satisfaction. You get that gratification of, oh my gosh, it looks beautiful already. And then other spaces, they take time. They may take weeks, the garden boxes with the, you know, the seeds germinating. They may take months. They may take years, right? So gardening definitely teaches you patience, but that's the joy of it, is that you get to grow and evolve with your gardens. And gardens will certainly humble you at times, for sure. So I do hope that you have found this encouraging, and that that you take any kind of lessons and tidbits and facts that we share with you of our messes and our successes in our gardens, and that you can then apply it to your garden, because no two gardens are ever the same. And so it is so important to be a student of your own garden and understand what your garden needs, the requirements that it has, like your soil, your climate, all of that kind of things, and then pairing that with what you as the gardener want to have in your space. That is the joy and the fun of gardening, because the possibilities are absolutely endless. Of course, we will keep you updated on all the projects that happen here at Creekside, because we never lack for projects, that is for sure. As always, we hope you have found it fun, informative, and inspirational. If you have, we would love it if you would like and subscribe. That way you don't miss the 5 videos that we do each and every week. Y'all have an amazing day. I'm gonna go enjoy this rain. It's glorious. See you in the next video. Bye, friends.